Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we've got a political bombshell that mixes family ties, housing money, and the kind of courtroom drama that makes South African politics feel more like a soap opera than a democracy. The Gauteng Partnership Fund, better known as the GPF, is dragging none other than Nceba Nonkwelo to court. And if that name doesn't immediately ring a bell, let me connect the dots. Nonkwelo is the son-in-law of Deputy President Paul Mashatile. Yes, you heard that right. The Deputy President's family is back in the headlines, and not for building houses, but allegedly for not building them at all. At the heart of the case is R12.6 million. That's not pocket change. That's not even lottery money. That is enough cash to build actual homes for struggling families across Gauteng, the very purpose of the GPF. But instead of bricks, cement, and roofs, what we apparently got was nothing. According to legal papers filed in the High Court, the money was allocated to a housing project through Nonkwelo's business. Yet, to this day, the promised development is nowhere to be seen. Not a foundation, not a wall, not even a pit latrine. Just silence and an expensive legal fight. Now, this is where things get spicy. The Gauteng Partnership Fund isn't just some fly-by-night agency. It's a state-owned institution tasked with funding affordable housing developments. In other words, it is supposed to take taxpayer money and channel it into projects that improve people's lives. But critics have long said the GPF has weak monitoring, poor enforcement, and a worrying history of projects going sideways. This case could very well be the turning point, the precedent that decides whether the state can truly hold politically connected businessmen accountable, or whether we'll be stuck in the same endless cycle of money vanishing into thin air. For Nceba Nonkwelo, the stakes could not be higher. He has built a reputation as a big player in real estate and infrastructure, but this lawsuit paints a very different picture. His critics say this is a classic example of how politically connected entrepreneurs benefit from public funds, while millions of South Africans wait for affordable homes that never arrive. His defenders, though, insist that business disputes are messy and that the courts are the proper place to sort things out. But the optics, are nothing short of disastrous. Let's be real for a second. If this were just a businessman and the GPF, it might be a minor story. But when that businessman happens to be married into the household of the Deputy President, it becomes a national issue. The ANC is already under fire for corruption scandals, and here comes a lawsuit involving R12.6 million tied to one of its top leaders' relatives. It's the kind of headline that opposition parties dream about. It practically writes itself, a Deputy President's family linked to failed housing deal. And while Paul Mashatile himself has not been accused of any wrongdoing, that doesn't really matter in politics. Perception is everything. And the perception here is that the people closest to power continue to benefit while ordinary citizens are left with nothing. In fact, this scandal is so toxic that even if Mashatile keeps his hands clean, the ANC's image takes another beating. You don't have to be a political strategist to see how opposition parties like the DA, the EFF, and even the MK party will weaponize this in speeches, rallies, and campaign ads. Civil society groups are already demanding transparency, warning against backroom deals that might shield powerful individuals from accountability. They want the trial to play out in full view of the public, with no shortcuts, no settlements that disappear into the night. Because, frankly, South Africans are tired. Tired of stories where millions go missing, tired of endless excuses, and tired of waiting for houses, jobs, and service delivery while politicians and their families seem to land on their feet no matter what. But here's the twist. If the GPF wins this case, it could set a new standard. Imagine other state-owned agencies suddenly feeling emboldened to chase down lost funds with teeth. It could open the door for more lawsuits, more accountability, and maybe even more money flowing back into the public purse. But if Nonkwelo wins, then the opposite narrative kicks in, that the state is too hasty to sue, that its oversight mechanisms are flimsy, and that politically connected figures can wriggle out of tough spots once again. So what's at stake here isn't just R12.6 million. It's also trust. Trust in the legal system. Trust in government agencies. And trust in whether South Africa is serious about cleaning up its corruption-ridden image. Now, let's add one more layer. Think about the timing. The ANC is navigating coalition politics, public trust is at rock bottom, and unemployment remains sky high. For millions of South Africans living in shacks, in backyards, and in underdeveloped townships, hearing that millions were allocated to a housing project that never materialized is like rubbing salt into an open wound. It reinforces the idea that politics is just a feeding trough for the elite. And that is dangerous, because when people lose faith in the system, they don't just sit quietly. They protest, they burn, and they sometimes vote for radical alternatives. So, this lawsuit is more than just another corruption headline. It's a test case for accountability, a test case for political optics, and a test case for the Deputy President himself. Paul Mashatile may not be directly involved, but the public will inevitably connect the dots. After all, how many times have we seen powerful families surf above the storm while ordinary people drown? At the end of the day, the High Court will decide whether Nonkwelo must repay the R12.6 million plus interest. But the court of public opinion may already have delivered its verdict. And that verdict is that South Africans are full of the same story playing out over and over again. So, what do you think? Is this the moment when state agencies finally show they mean business, or will this be just another scandal that fades into the background? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown of South Africa's biggest political dramas. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and as always, see you next time.